They destroyed them. In cold blood. No warning. No mercy. And WWE just let it happen. Let me tell you exactly what went down, because if you missed Monday Night Raw, you missed one of the most vicious, calculated, and straight-up disrespectful ambushes we have seen in years. And the worst part? Roman Reigns didn't just do this to send a message. He did it to erase the Vision from existence before they even got a chance to breathe on the main roster. That's right. Welcome back to Ring Rumble One, the only channel that doesn't sugarcoat what WWE is doing, the only channel that calls it exactly how it is, and today we are going in on Roman Reigns, the Usos, and the absolute cold-blooded savagery that took place backstage on Raw. Drop a comment right now. Are you furious about what happened, or do you think the Bloodline deserved to do what they did? Let's see where Ring Rumble 1 stands on this one. Setting the scene. Now, before we get into the attack itself, we need to talk about the tension that had been building for weeks, because this didn't come out of nowhere, and that makes it even more calculated, even more sinister. The Vision had been making serious noise on Raw. These guys were picking up wins, cutting promos that were landing, and most importantly, they were starting to earn the respect of the Raw locker room. The crowd was getting behind them. You could feel it building. The kind of buzz that you don't manufacture, the kind of buzz that just happens when talent is real. And Roman Reigns noticed. See, that's the thing about the tribal chief that most people still don't fully understand even after all this time. Roman doesn't wait for a threat to become a problem. Roman eliminates threats before they rise. That's not a villain trope, that's a strategic philosophy, and on Monday Night Raw, that philosophy was put into action with absolutely zero hesitation. The Usos had been watching the Vision for weeks. Jimmy and G, or whoever is riding with Roman at this point, because the Bloodline has more moving parts than a Swiss watch, had been clocking the Vision's movements. Their locker room. Their routines. When they arrive. When they warm up. Where they are most vulnerable. This wasn't random. This was a hunt. The ambush. Now here's where it gets ugly. And I mean ugly. Backstage on Raw, the Vision were in the hallway making their way toward the gorilla position, preparing for what should have been a massive moment for them. Cameras caught it. The production team caught it. And then out of nowhere the Usos came around that corner like two freight trains with a grudge, and the Vision never saw it coming. Jimmy and G hit first. Simultaneous. Both of them targeting their respective opponents with the kind of coordinated precision that only brothers who have been doing this for over a decade can pull off. The Vision barely had time to react. One of them got slammed spine first into a production crate so hard that the entire backstage area went silent for a full 2 seconds before chaos erupted. Crew members scattered. Referees came running. But nobody stepped in fast enough. And then Roman appeared. Not running. Not rushing. Roman Reigns walked around that corner like he owned the building, because in his mind, he does. Dressed in his gear, lay around his neck, that stone-cold expression on his face that tells you this was never personal to him. This was business. This was maintenance. He walked up to the fallen members of the Vision, looked down at them, and said nothing. He didn't need to. The Usos flanked him on both sides. Paul Heyman, who was allegedly nearby, though conveniently just out of camera shot, reportedly watched the whole thing unfold without flinching. Roman crouched down. Got eye level with one of the Vision members who was trying to pull himself up using the wall. And reportedly, according to sources backstage, Roman said 4 words. Acknowledge me. Or else. Then he stood up, straightened his vest, and walked away. Like nothing happened. Like 2 human beings weren't laid out on the floor behind him. Why, this is bigger than just an attack. Okay, so here is where I need you to really pay attention, because the talking heads and the surface level wrestling commentary is going to miss this completely. This attack was not about the Vision specifically. This was Roman Reigns drawing a line in the sand for the entire Raw locker room. Think about the timing. We are in a period right now where the main event scene on Raw is shifting. New talent is being positioned. There are conversations happening about who the next big thing is, who gets the push, who gets the spotlight. And Roman Reigns, even when he's not on Raw every single week, even when his appearances are calculated and sparse, Roman still considers himself the standard. He is the tribal chief not just of his family, but of the entire WWE landscape as far as he's concerned. And when new talent starts getting momentum that he hasn't personally sanctioned, when new factions start building loyalty in a locker room that Roman wants under his influence, he makes an example. The Vision just happened to be standing in the wrong place at the right time for Roman, that is. By taking them out backstage before their segment, Roman accomplished 3 things simultaneously. 1, he physically hurt them and potentially derailed their momentum. 2, he sent a message to every single person backstage that no one is safe. 3, he reminded everyone watching at home that the Bloodline's reach extends beyond whatever camera is on them. They operate in the shadows too. They operate everywhere. This is next-level chess. Brutal, dirty, underhanded chess, but chess nonetheless. The reaction backstage. Now let me tell you what I'm hearing about the locker room reaction, because this is important. People are shaken. Not scared, these are professional wrestlers, these are tough human beings, but shaken in the sense that there's a new awareness backstage. Attention! Because if the Vision, who had been gaining traction and building relationships, can get ambushed like that with seemingly no consequences, then who's next? There are reportedly factions and talent alliances that are having quiet conversations right now. Conversations about whether you align with the bloodline or whether you start building your own coalition strong enough to push back. Because the middle ground, the neutral ground, just got set on fire on Monday Night Raw. And here's the real heat of it: WWE management, at least on screen, has done nothing. No suspension. No fine referenced. No authority figure coming out with consequences. Just silence. Which either means this story is about to escalate in a massive way, which I believe it is, or WWE is once again letting Roman Reigns operate above the rules, which has been the defining characteristic of his entire tribal chief run. I want to know what you think about that. Drop it in the comments. Should there be consequences? Or does Roman Reigns answer to nobody? What happens next? Alright, let's talk about where this goes from here, because that's what Ring Rumble 1 does. We don't just cover what happened, we analyze what's coming. The Vision cannot let this go unanswered. If they do, they are finished. Not just in storyline terms, in terms of crowd investment, in terms of that momentum they had built. Wrestling fans are unforgiving when it comes to babyfaces who absorb punishment and don't fight back. The Vision needs to respond. Hard, fast, and loud. Now, the smart move, and I mean the nuclear option, would be for the Vision to find an ally powerful enough to make the bloodline think twice. And there are names out there, names that make sense, names that would send the Raw audience into complete orbit if they appeared in that context. I'm not going to speculate too deep on names because I don't want to put information out there that isn't confirmed, but let's just say there are former allies of the bloodline who have very specific grudges and very specific motivations to get involved. On the bloodline side, Roman has just made himself the focal point of a new Raw feud while still operating in his SmackDown world. That's a dangerous game. You stretch thin enough, even the tribal chief has vulnerabilities. Roman knows this. The Usos know this. Which is why the ambush strategy exists: take out the threat before it becomes a threat. Never let it escalate to the point where you're genuinely in danger. But the Vision survived. They're still here. And that changes the calculus entirely. The next few weeks on Raw are going to be must-watch television. Every backstage segment, every locker room cutaway, every parking lot shot is going to carry weight now. Because the bloodline has made it clear they play by no rules, and the Vision now has nothing to lose. Final word. I'll leave you with this. Roman Reigns has been the best character in professional wrestling for several years running. Not because he's the most technically gifted, though he's elite, but because every single decision his character makes is consistent with who Roman is. Tribal chief isn't a catchphrase. It's a worldview. It's a code of conduct. And that code says, there is the bloodline, and there is everyone else. And everyone else exists at the bloodline's pleasure. The Vision just learned that lesson the hard way on Monday Night Raw. But lessons learned hard are lessons never forgotten. And I have a feeling that the Vision is going to make Roman Reigns regret every single second of that backstage ambush before this story is done. That's the Ring Rumble 1 breakdown. If you are fired up about this, if you were sitting there angry, ready for the Vision to get their revenge, smash that like button, share this video with every wrestling fan you know, and subscribe if you haven't already, because we cover every angle, every story, every moment that matters in WWE. Comment below: can the Vision get revenge on Roman Reigns and the Usos, or is the bloodline simply too dominant to be stopped? I'll see you in the next one. Ring Rumble 1, we don't miss a thing. The script is structured in clear sections so you can use timestamps, includes multiple comment call to actions, and builds heat progressively to keep viewers watching until the end. Let me know if you want tone adjustments or a different ending hook.